Good morning, good morning, good morning. Just before the noon hour, about 4 minutes till. And here I am, once again, Eddie Smalls, aka Manifest Man, giving you 63 straight days of me and my intentions. And as I've talked about in previous videos, why 63? Well, I am 63. And a numerologist told me 63 means, well, completion of a cycle, humanitarianism. You think about a home and family, life purpose. And yes, I do think about those things. And all this came about because of a midlife crisis. This is what springboarded all this. I had an early midlife crisis at age 33. Now, midlife crisis years usually be somewhere between 40, 45, 50, somewhere in there, 60 years old, somewhere between 40 and 45. The middle age years, as they call it. But you can have one earlier than that. It's all a perception. I know clinicians and psychologists all talk about 40, age 40 is the year that you start doing a lot of thinking, especially men, but you do it before that. I mean, there's some people that freak out at 30 about aging, all because of the metabolic change. Well, at 33, it happened to me. And it was a health issue because midlife crisis, you might have things that happen in three different areas that affect it. Money matters, love and relationships, and health. In my case, it was health. I severely hurt my back at 27, and I've hobbled around for 6 years, moaning and groaning and talking bad to myself about how I hurt my back in a pickup basketball game. Now, some of you think that's crazy, but I know I'm not the only one that's done something of that nature. When you lose something, it just hits you. It's called grief. And losing health is a grief thing. And I was in serious pain. But what happened at 33 to change me? That midlife crisis, because a midlife crisis, what you basically start doing is you're obsessed with the past. So that's why I entitled this segment "Symptoms of a Midlife Crisis." See, the symptoms gonna come from money matters, love and relationships, and health. And generally, you don't know you're going through it, or you do, and just deflecting it, not thinking about it. No, that's just some thing that's going on. Life happens. Whatever we want to call it, according to Dr. Elliot Jacks, the man that came up with the concept, you basically have a problem dealing with the present and you're obsessed about the past. And in my case, I was going, why could I be so crazy to just freak out over being a macho man? That is really what was happening, trying to fit in, be an athlete after high school. I ran this for 10 years, but it got exhilarating. The endorphins in my brain. I mean, the fact that I could do 2,000 sit-ups per day, that I can run 5 miles a day and be in shape, and and play any sport I wanted to, anything from softball to basketball, boxing. I tried to do everything. We played tackle football. But the symptoms of a midlife crisis are this. There are many. You have thoughts about aging, obsession about aging. That's what really happens. There are people that spend a lot of time looking in the mirror. Now, you could do that at 30 years old, 35, 40. Start pulling hairs, checking your nostrils, looking at your eyelids. Ugh. Seeing what things happening on your face. See, we live in a culture where physical appearance It's paramount that you look at it and try to look like a certain person all the time. You know, these celebrities or somebody see in a magazine. And what we often don't think about is even those people in the magazines don't look like that. It's either makeup or Photoshop, but image is big. So you're obsessed with what you're thinking about. I mean, how do I look? How do I dress? We let our culture tell us how to dress anyway. And somebody, God forbid, says, "Wow, you're so out there," or you don't keep up with the times. You listen to what people say. That bothers you. Symptoms of a midlife crisis. You know, you can see you go through woulda, shoulda, coulda. I woulda did this. I coulda did that. I shoulda did that. I did a lot of that, and I know there are other people that do it too. See the shoulds, and as these things are all based on what somebody said to you. You're so busy trying to please other people that you don't see what it is you really want to do. You can go through an identity crisis. You can lose yourself. I mean, think about it. I've known women that, you know, they get in there, 38, 40 years old, become a mother. And now she's an aging mother. All her kids are grown. They're either in college, military, or they're out on their own. And suddenly she's lost the meaning of life. What is it? What's going on with her? Well, she's like 40, 42 years old now, and all her kids are grown, or even the baby. She's obsessed with dealing with the baby in the family, who's probably like 18 and 19 years old, and she's about to go to college. So what's mother to do now? She starts feeling what? Her self-worth has been pinched off. The kids no longer need them, except maybe for a couple of dollars because the rent is due. They need a babysitter, something like that. And these mothers start feeling something, and they aren't sure what it is, but it's an identity crisis. You've obsessed with being a mother for a while, and it's all right because that's what you are. But you're a wife. You know, maybe you had a job or have a job, but those are all titles. You're still your own person. You know, men, we do this. You know, like I said, I had an obsession with being an athlete because I didn't play sports in high school, so I did it after high school. They call it a weekend warrior. And I kept at it until 10 years later, I hurt my back so bad I had to stop the macho thing. And I was forced to examine my life. And that's what a midlife crisis is. The Chinese say crisis means opportunity. It's an opportunity to look at your life. I mean, if you have an identity crisis, why? You know, I've seen parents that chase their kids to college. And I do mean chase, because they're in their rooms hanging up their clothes for them and doing all kinds of things. You know, hanging out on the campus. I've done things like that. My son was 16 and he was in Upward Bound. I was going to Upward Bound with him. And so he wanted me to say, "Dad, can you tell people that I'm your uncle and not your dad? I mean, my dad." I said, and I know what it meant. So I said, "All right, let's do that." But we often lose ourselves. See, let me tell you about identity. What do you identify with? You know, you say your job title, whatever it is, supervisor, CEO of a corporation, you're an electrician, a plumber, a Lyft driver, an engineer. And these are all titles, but they aren't you, because those titles could disappear. Just like I talked about the mother that was there. Her kids were grown and gone. And now she's feeling lost. She don't realize she has an opportunity to grow as a person now. Her husband's still on his job. She's got a job, and now she's got this void in her life. I no longer need to be soccer mom or go to football games, plan the evening meals and things like that. But she don't realize this is an opportunity for her to do something that she always wanted to do. What is that? Ponder about it. I'll give you an example. Write a book. Write a book. Write a book. I don't know. You decide what it is. Something. I remember people was crocheting and joining these basket weaving groups. Become a speaker. Speak about what? Motherly things. Speak about how you lose your identity. See, another symptom of midlife crisis is losing the meaning of life. Yeah, you can do that. Because when things change and shift in your life and you kind of look around and say, well, what happened to the time? You could lose the meaning to life. You don't know what your purpose is anymore because you put your purpose in things that you're supposed to do, of course, because those are responsibilities that come with titles: mother, father, parent, teacher, employee, citizen of your country. There are responsibilities that come with that, but those things don't make you who you are. The meaning of your life is what you give it. And you lose it because you put so much stake into these titles that when all of a sudden these titles shift, you go, oh, what happened to the time? What time just went? Now you have to assess where you are and start doing according to a new way of thinking. A crisis, according to the Chinese, means opportunity. See, when I hurt my back at 33, I didn't think of it. I've gone through an early midlife crisis, that was what happened. I woke up to a whole new world when I finally decided I need to do something about these back problems. I was in serious pain. My back felt like I was bent forward, and people were laughing at me at 33. The embarrassment forced me to re-examine my life, decide, okay, what am I going to do about this? I can't go out and freak out over sports anymore. So what do? Well, let's start examining this problem with your back and seeing what we can do about getting some help. Get past your fear of surgery. Get past your fear of the unknown. Get past what might happen and go and get some intelligent commentary from a doctor. So I did that. And what I found compelled me to want to move on forward and say, this is something. I entered a whole different world. I didn't know about naturopathic medicine or alternative medicine. I didn't know about inflammatory response. I did know that your body can get inflamed from certain things. I hurt my ankle, I hurt my knee, I have knee surgery and all that. So I'm learning all these things. But I was such a thorough person that I asked doctors all kinds of questions. In fact, the specialist that went and did my back surgery just looked at me and said, you asked the right questions. I say, yes, and I want the right answers. He looked at me and say, touche, and he gave them to me. I started reading books about medicine and back pain and alternatives to taking pills and having to use icy hot and being gay because people were going, is that you, Eddie? Yeah. I was smitten like being gay everywhere I went. But today, no. They don't have any, analgesics that I use. I don't even take painkillers. What I do is I manage it. I stretch. I take dandelion tea. I drink a green tea. These are anti-inflammatories, and it just soothes my back naturally. Just let the body heal itself. But it took me some indulgence to do that, to learn to do these things. As I talk more about symptoms of a midlife crisis, if you listen to me, you can hear in my voice where I'm having, you know, energy. See, when things get anxious, you build up energy. And that's what it's all about anyway. It's about the energy that you build up in yourself. Now, this is getting a little deeper scientific, but let's try a word like overwhelm. See, when you go through a midlife crisis, you can get overwhelmed quickly. I think about the three symptoms. The three main categories where symptoms can arise. Money matters, love and relationships, health. Just look at them. How much anxiety can come out of money? Yes. Either you don't have enough or you have too much. Either way, you start thinking about it. What am I do with my money? What am I do with my money? Oh, what I do to get money? What I do to get money? And as you age, that really starts getting on your mind because you start, just like I'm on the internet right now, you go ahead, you get these pop-ups that tell you about retirement money, 401k, the latest big stock. Money flashes right before your eyes all the time. You start thinking about it. And the older you get, the more you think about that. Because they say what? People are living to be what? 75, 80 years old, 85? Do you have enough money to carry you? Then there's love and relationships. Now I hear that marriages are organic and they change and evolve. Yeah. And you have separation. You have divorce. You have breakups, broken hearts. And of course, sweet love. That's a Commodore song. And I remember that song so well. going off a tangent right there, but sweet love. All right, I'm not gonna sing. But these are things that build up a lot of emotions. And health is number one. Even though we don't think of it like that, most of us try to deflect it. Health. But that's how health issues creep up on you. And bam, like that back pain that day. That day that I, in a pickup basketball game, had to be picked up off the floor. I thought it had snapped my spine. It hurt so bad. I don't know what a knife wound feels like. I don't know what a gunshot wound feels like. But I tell you what, I got some kind of idea. If I was an actor on stage and talking about getting shot, I could go back to that pain and simulate it. But see, symptoms of a midlife crisis, it all has to do with your mind and what you're thinking. Overwhelm, frustration, anger. See, grief brings on things like that. Regret brings on things like that. Guilt. See, these are all words that have a lot of emotion attached to it. And not only that, they perceived as negative. Yes, downtrodden spirits. And that's about what I felt until I decided, I made a decision. No, I got to get out of these doldrums. Let's go back of this old word. Overwhelm is something I hear a lot of. That's why I'm saying it so much. Oh, I'm overwhelmed. Life happens. Think about this. Wife comes home and her husband just shocks her with he wants to leave her. And then she finds out it's somebody half his age. That's what you call a typical idea what you think a midlife crisis is. Now she's overwhelmed with what? What am I going to do now? I'm mad about this. He was having an affair. What about the children? I got to get a lawyer. How do I work and go to work knowing that my life is falling apart? Overwhelm is powerful. It beats you up. Now you're frustrated and you're angry. You might start breaking up stuff in the house. Overwhelm is just that. And see, as you go through it, you also have to wait till all that initial energy dissipates so you can start thinking straight again and decide, now, okay, now that the reality is hit, what am I going to do about it? Have to start thinking straight, getting past frustration and start thinking in decisive action because something has happened. There was a woman that I served as a life coach, and she came to me and she said, Eddie, I married the wrong man. I go, yeah. And that was the beginning of our working relationship. Me helping her deal with the fact she married the wrong man. That was her midlife crisis. There's another young lady that, well, I'm saying young, these ladies are 35 years and older, but she just didn't like herself. She didn't like her life. I have no husband, no children, and I'm just, no, and she just didn't like herself. And see, that can cause a midlife crisis, self-hatred, self-loathing. Whatever went on in your life in the past has built you up to thinking that about yourself. And now you got to deal with it because sometime in your life you say, I want to learn how it is to love myself. And the older you get, you wonder, will time run out before I even learn how that feels? Yes. There's a lot of things you deal with a midlife crisis. And some people don't even like that term. Oh, well, they just call it a midlife transition. Try to, you want to butter the word up, like you buttering up a turkey to make it look real good when it cooks. Whatever, it's still what it is. You are aging, and the problems that normally come in life seem to compound because of aging. That's what it really is. I mean, you have problems when you're 20. You have problems when you're 17. You have problems when you're 10. And your parents have to teach you, things will go, this will pass. I mean, you fumbled the ball in a little league football game. and you thought it was the end of the world because everybody laughed at you. You missed a shot in a basketball game at 17 that could have won the championship, and you mad because you wasn't, feel like you're not the next Michael Jordan. These things happen to people. But you're young and you don't think that this is in the world. People tell you, oh, come on, you got your whole life ahead of you. But when you turn 35, 40, 45, and the clock is ticking, that comes that urgency to your mind. And that's where overwhelm comes from. That's where your frustration comes from. I mean, there are people that are secret sippers. They're always sipping something, going home, trying to deal with their life. That's what a midlife crisis can and often does. So as I'm here talking about the symptoms of a midlife crisis, I want you to think about it. Well, where's your life now? Am I tweaking and adjusting with some ideas for you to think about what's going on with your life? That's why I'm doing these things, because that's what I had to do. Do you like your job? See, hating a job, I mean, I hear people, 20 years old hating a job. They only been on it 6 months. 22 years old, my goodness. I've been passed up for a promotion. At 22, they're angry. But try that at 35. You've been passed up for a promotion, 6 times? Somebody else got it. And you still with that company. And why are you still with them? Because you're afraid to leave, because you have benefits, because that's what you know. You're afraid of the unknown. Maybe you won't find another job like the one you have, or the same salary. Familiarity is the thing that you're thinking about, because you're afraid of the unknown. But you can get another job. They're out there. They're looking for people that are responsible, that can carry the load of a company, that can do a task, supervise. I mean, you don't see your skills because you're so busy dealing with what is happening now and not accepting it for what it is. An opportunity to examine your life and make a decision on what it is you want to do. See, job change, that could be like reinvention. You can go, you don't even have to stay in the profession you're in, but you're thinking, but I'm 35 years old, I'm 40. I can't just jump ship. Well, actually, you can. And I'm saying this because I've experienced these things. I've reinvented myself so many times. It isn't funny. I mean, I'm a life coach now. Well, I didn't plan this. I was a sous chef for 6 years, and I can drop some names of people that I served as a chef. You know, you go, wow, yeah. Been a speaker and a writer because I did not like being bored on anything, any job. No. But I went through channels and did what was necessary to change. That's why I became what is called a change agent. I started realizing, wow, how many people get stuck in situations and won't move because of some fear they have inside. There's a lot of them out there. And a midlife crisis is an opportunity for you to examine what you really want with your life. What do you really want to do with your life? It's your life. You know, whether you leave this world at 32, 35, 40, or 80, it's still your life. And I know most of us don't want to think that morbidity of death. When Dr. Elliot Jacks, the man that created the concept midlife crisis based on some circumstance he saw, and he was studying geniuses, you know, artists, people that spend a lot of time working on their artistic expression. And there was a set of circumstance that hit them that got in the way of their work. And he started examining this, and this is where he came with the concept of a midlife crisis. This is like 1957 when he actually approached the, what they call it, the psychology board, or this big meeting they have every year. And when he wrote this paper, it freaked everybody out because he's talking about death. Yes, what do you do before you die? And these are psychologists that would go, oh, they didn't even want to discuss this because we have a lot of anxiety about death. Well, I'm talking about life. You're going to leave this world. What do you do in the meantime? That's what I'm talking about, because that's what a midlife crisis is. It wakes you up to the possibilities, whether you see them or not. It's time for you to open your eyes and see what's going on so you can decide what you want to do. Put some real meaning to your life. Put some purpose behind it. I mean, I'm giving you 63 videos, live videos of me talking about a midlife crisis because that's what shook me up. That's why I'm talking about this. Now, a lot of people don't really want to hear about a midlife crisis. I'm just not talking to them. I'm talking to somebody who's out there that's felt overwhelmed, frustrated, angry about their lives, and can't figure out what's going on. Now, I picked midlife crisis because that was the age and place that I was in, but I've talked to people in their 20s that freak out like that. Now, this girl was 24 years old and was mad because she didn't have a husband. She didn't have any children. I don't have a house. I don't even have a career. Oh, my life is over. She's saying that at 24. That's why I say it's a perception. What do you think? What are you feeling about your life? And it goes on and gets worse as you age and becomes a mental health issue that most people don't even want to talk about because they don't want to say, well, I got a mental health issue. Yeah, it's going to be worse if you don't become cognizant of it. Start thinking about it more. Think about simple body aches, arthritis, you know, hair graying, Do you color your hair? I know some people had to go, well, I don't have to worry about all that kind of stuff. Or no, just these are just decisions you make. You know, I color my hair. Sometimes I don't. It just depends. I used to, say that when it was all black and I had to worry about it. Or I never color my hair. But now I just walk around looking at people who are half my age who are coloring their hair all the time. I mean, I've seen different colors in the same week. I'm going, I ain't going to do all that. I just, so just cover up some grace. It's a decision. So, as I bring this to a close, and I've talked a little bit, I generally, I generally talk a lot. I didn't plan to just run like this, but I'm hoping somebody got some value out of this. Hoping somewhere in your life you're thinking, whether you want to see it as a crisis or not, or just this opportunity for you to examine your life. What's going on with your life? At your age, what do you think about your age? Whether you're 25, 35, 55, 65, 75. I mean, I have some relatives in their 90s. And if and I was embarrassed to tell them I had a back problem. They look at me, back problem? What are you talking about? You ain't got a back yet. All you got is a gristle. Now that's how my great aunt talked to me. So I was embarrassed to tell them that my back hurted. They look at me, why you walking like that, son? Son, why you walking like that? And I didn't want to tell them because these people are in their 80s and 90s. They just got a walking stick. Some of them don't even have one. So I wouldn't get one. And I'm glad I didn't because I decided to go and take care of the problem. And that's what a midlife crisis is really pointing to. What's going on with you? What's making you act, quote unquote, out of sorts? Why are you going in this direction or that direction? I mean, it's your life. Just put some meaning to it. Think of what it is that's really going on with your life. What's happening to make you do what you're doing? That's really what it's all about. And as you decide what's going on, then make a decision on how you want to carry on. Accept what's happening and move forward. Whatever decision you make is yours to do anyway. But just to go willy-nilly about it and then all of a sudden look around going, time has gone by. Because that's what you end up doing. You'd be surprised how 5 years can just go by. I mean, I tell people, every time I turn around, it seems like it's Christmas. That's when you know you're aging. Every time I turn around, it seems like it's Christmas. I mean, it's October now. It's at October 2nd. And where I work, they already got Christmas trees up. And I'm saying, there it is again. That's when you know you're aging. You're cognizant of time going by, birthdays, back to school, Thanksgiving, the rituals of life. So people, whatever you think about these symptoms of a midlife crisis as I laid them out and how it impacted your mind and your life, whether you can care anything about it or not, I'm hoping you got somebody just one nugget that can maybe better you, better your life. If not anything, just consider the possibilities. What the meaning you put with your life? What's the meaning you put to your life? What is it you really want to get involved with? And make a decision. What do you want to do about it? This is Eddie Smalls, aka Manifest Man. This is number 10 of 63. Y'all have a great day.